Hello out there. We're on the air. We are on the air. Hopefully things are working here. I don't know. I had a bit of issues here this morning. Nothing was loading. I couldn't get anything to load here. Before we go any further today, let me share that. I just got to share a couple things here that I ran out of time doing. But somebody yesterday in the comments said that, what was the comment here? Let me find it quickly. And it's a known problem. It's a known issue on the daily Bitcoin journey. What was the comment? It was pretty savage. Not really savage, but it's from Swiss Hodl. And the comment was, please don't play with your mouse on the table. So I have this thing that slides out here with my keyboard and mouse on it. And the keyboard takes up about 95% of it. There's barely any room for my mouse here. So I tried to slide it over a bit today. That's why I kind of lift it up and down, because I can't really move it side to side. There's no room there. So I'm either going to have to get a quieter mouse or figure something else out. I'll try to be aware of it though today for Swiss Hodl. That would be annoying. I hate listening to podcasts and stuff when there's like a noise in the background. So I understand. Okay, I'm going to have to slowly move my mouse over here so I don't make too much noise. Okay, good morning, everybody. I got to update the Zap stream too. We're getting back into things here. Once we only got like 3 days left in August. That's sad. But once this summer is over, I'm going to be a lot more, I don't know, not more prepared, but just like it's very easy to stay up late to find other things to do in the summertime. So in the next little while, I'm going to be laser focused here, and we're going to need it, because I have a feeling that this thing's going to kind of sneak up on a lot of people, and there's going to be a lot of people running to Bitcoin, and they're not going to have a clue where to go. So I know that there's a lot of people out there who do recommend this show to their friends and to their network. And so I appreciate that. So you can send them this way. We'll get them sorted out. I don't know why this isn't working today. It won't let me update my, I see the grinders on Zap.stream as well this morning. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on here. I can see the chats. I see Craig's in the house this morning. Love that. It's not even showing my show on the Zap stream right now. Okay, well, we'll give that a little bit of a break, but I see Craig's over there and Letha's over there. It's not working for me right now. But we got a lot of people on the YouTube as well. We got Django. Hey, is that Arnie? Hi, buddy. Come on in. Come on in. You can hang out if you want. Arnie's feeling better. He's feeling a lot better. He had a really good day yesterday in terms of being himself again. He's a pretty fast dog, I'll tell you that. If you've seen him go full speed, he took a week off from full speed to heal his yichies, but he's back. He's fully back now. He's never been, one of your crazy stories, never been downstairs before. He just stands at the top of the stairs. It's weird. It's weird stairs because it goes like down 3 and then sideways. Oh, I thought he went down. So he can't see the bottom of it, so he's terrified of it. It's a big baby. But we also don't want him down there, so it kind of works out well. Okay, let me get settled in here. Django, Rob Martell, good morning. Adam, good to see you. I haven't seen Adam for a while in here. Silver Fox, Matt, Jor. I was mostly just trying to get things to load for me. Cold Deck with an E, good morning. Hope all is well. Things couldn't be better right now, honestly. The only thing that worries me a little bit is just the unknown, the uncertainty coming here with the election. It kind of gives me a little bit of a sick feeling in my stomach. But at the same time, we got to remain hopeful, and we got to. My stream's not showing up in Zapstream today. Says it's on. I see that Letha's up 2100 sats. Maybe I'll just watch it from here and see how things go. But it's not showing up on the main screen for me. Okay, that worked. Okay, well, we'll keep going and see what happens. The horror. I'm guessing, Adam, you're talking about the mouse issue here. Mouse gate. Too noisy of a mouse. Okay, here's a comment from Muslim Bitcoiner. So today's going to be I titled the show Bitcoin and Banks. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to talk about it today. I still want to put a little bit more thought into it. I might test it out on the private side of things today, but we'll see. We'll see. We're going to go through a few things here this morning. I got a couple things to talk about. But in the meantime, let's get to this one. So if you do have any questions, we're going to do our private Q&A on the second half of the show. I don't know when it'll start or how long it'll go, but you good? Thinking about going down? But in the meantime, if you do have any questions here, we'll take some from the chat. Muslim Bitcoiner says, Asalam, how to eat at your parents who don't care about the seed oil thing? Do you suck it up and eat that one day and feel the effects later, or do you try to resist? That's a really tough question. I mean, it's honestly the same kind of thing with Bitcoin. If people aren't ready to hear it, you could talk until you're blue in the face and they wouldn't understand it. It's a little bit different though with foods, because with money, with Bitcoin, with inflation, people are starting to feel it a lot more, right? You go to the grocery store, things are significantly higher than they were 5 years ago. I mean, it's been a slow creep, obviously, but people are definitely feeling it now, especially here in Canada. There's a bag of chips at the gas station here the other day for $7.30. One bag of chips. A big bag, but still, like I remember when we were not even that long ago, before 2020, like a big bag of chips would be $3.50 max, maybe $4, and that seemed expensive. And it's pretty much doubled since then. So people are starting to feel it in every aspect of their life right now. And the seed oil thing is not something that they would just see or feel or experience. Like, it's a little bit different. It takes a lot more for people to get there. And myself, I'm completely aware of the dangers of seed oil, what they do to the body, and I still eat them myself. Like, it's tough. It's a hard cycle to break out of. Like, I love chips. I do. If there's no chips in the cupboard for me or in the pantry, then it's a bad day. And it's not like I'm not somebody who just opens up a big bag of chips and can eat the whole thing. Like, I just like kind of munching, whether I'm with some lunch, whatever I'm eating, or later in the night for watching TV, whatever. It's tough. It's very hard. And I do really think that the seed oil thing will be a lot harder for people to fully comprehend, because as kind of we've been talking about with the seed oil stuff and just the Fiat food and how it's trickled into every part of our society. Here, everybody eats it, so you don't really notice anything different. Yeah, the hospitals are more full. There's more people dying, but we don't know. Nobody knows that it's a direct correlation to seed oils. But then you travel somewhere. You go to like Portugal. Like, we were just in Portugal not too long ago, and the food there, the people there, so much healthier, so much less fat. Canada is kind of fat. US is extremely fat. And then you go to Portugal and everybody's not jacked, but everybody's like in good shape there. They walk places, they eat better food. It's a totally different lifestyle than we live here. So it's out of our sight. Nobody knows that it's a problem here because everybody's kind of going through the same thing. So I really don't have an answer for you there. Unfortunately, I think that the only thing I would say on that is it's very similar to Bitcoin in terms of it's not something you can shove down their throat and expect them to comprehend it and change their ways. They have to experience it themselves. They have to have an open mind. And then when they're there, that's when you can kind of point them in that direction. But it probably wouldn't hurt, honestly, to just find a couple different ways to approach it. Send them a couple documentaries. Make sure that they're very short. Make sure that they can watch it within like 15, 20 minutes. There's a really good, let me find it here. The thing with people and the humans is that they have to kind of find things themselves. That's how real change happens, is they have to discover things themselves. If you send them something, you tell them something, it doesn't hit the same as unless they experience it themselves. But I mean, it doesn't hurt to try, because not everybody's like that. Okay, so that one's called Seed Oils. I think it's by Max DeMarco. Let me find that quickly here. Yeah, so it's only 20 minutes long. This is one that I watched a couple times now. I watched it with Bridge here. And like I said, we watched it, we understood it, we got it, and we still eat seed oils sometimes. So we definitely been eating healthier. We eat a lot of like soups and meat mostly, but it's hard to completely cut it out of the diet. But anyways, this documentary is called These Oils in Your Food Are Slowly Killing You by Max DeMarco. 22 minutes. It has 130,000 views on it. Really well done documentary. Very quick. It's tough. You can't really send somebody an hour-long documentary and expect them to sit down and watch it. So that's what I would say. Send them that and see what happens. Okay, Mouse, you're being too loud. You're being too loud. Okay. I just saw a comment here from one of the videos, actually, from Coro on YouTube. And the comment was, the easiest, best UI, user interface, Nostr client on Android. Folks have any suggestions? Going to dig into it this week. So if you're on Android, by far the best client that I've found is Amethyst. So hopefully Corwin's watching this today, but Amethyst is what I use. And I saw Twitter was going crazy yesterday for Nostr. Every time I'd scroll on Twitter, I'd see a whole bunch of new NPubs or people sharing their NPub and saying, drop yours below. It's kind of a little bit much, but at the same time, there's a lot of traction right now in Nostr. So I want to try to keep the momentum going here. But somebody said, are we really going to try this Nostr thing again? The user interface on Nostr sucks. And there is no user interface of Nostr. There's clients on Nostr, and each of those clients have different user interfaces. So a client is essentially just an app. Think of it like that. I wish people wouldn't start calling it clients, because they're applications. I don't know why we feel the need to overcomplicate things and turn people off of it before they even get started. But every app within Nostr is different. It has a different user interface. And I said, like, the one that I use is Amethyst, and I actually prefer the user interface on Amethyst to something like Twitter. So that's what I would say. Amethyst is the best one I found. It has a couple issues with it. They all kind of do. But overall, it's the best one that I've found, Amethyst. Okay, are we working on Zap.stream yet? No, we're not. That's kind of shitty. I see some comments there. I see some zaps. Craig zapped 2,100 sats for Arnie Insurance. Thank you, Craig. And Craig said, is anyone using Graphene OS? I have a backup Pixel with GOS. I'm guessing that's the Google operating system installed. Thinking about moving from iOS for privacy, but concerned with losing wallet and photos backup. Yeah, I can't help you with that, Craig. Sorry. But I will say on that note, like, I moved over from iOS at the end of June. It's been tough. Hey, Arnie. It's been tough, but at the same time, I love it. I don't think I'll ever go back to Apple now. Apple makes it very tough for people to leave their little wall garden, but I do not have any regrets. I've been kicked out of some group chats, and I really missed that, especially for like our golf league and our good buddies group chat we have. But the thing is that once, I don't know, it's tough. It's like I said, just jump on Signal. We'll set up a group chat there for our golf league stuff. We're doing a year-end tournament, and I organize it. So I wanted people to be in there to keep people up to date with things. And they're just like, I don't like this app. Signal I'm talking about. I don't like this app, too hard to use. I'm like, how is it hard to use? You fucking install it. You add your phone number and you add me there. That's it. That's all you have to do. People think they've just been so used to the Apple world for so long. Like iMessage is just an app. You have to go into your phone, you click the app, and it opens up. You go into your phone, you click Signal, it opens up. It's no different. And Signal, in my mind, I much prefer using Signal. There's a lot better features in there. There's just cool things that you can do that iMessage doesn't offer. So it's just the same old story with everybody. Very resistant to change. Anything new they don't like because it's different for them. Same with money. It's the same with seed oil. It's the same as any sort of technology. But if you're thinking about switching over from iOS, I would highly recommend it. And I was a hardcore Apple guy. I've been with Apple since the iPhone 3. I had to change my phone provider to get an iPhone because the MTS, the main provider here at the time, didn't have iPhones yet. So I had to switch over to Fido just to get the iPhone. And I've been using it ever since. But I absolutely love the Android. And we got Sunshine in the Zap.stream. Sunshine. I wonder if I could find that clip. There we go. I'll probably get my channel banned though, or demonetized because I'm sharing. Anyways, let's move on. I don't want to get in trouble here. Sunshine, zapped 1,000 sats. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. God, I love Zap.stream. All right, what else we got? We got James Bond is in the house. We got rock and roll. Good morning, all wonderful Bitcoiners. Bitcoin is still running. Thanks, Hal Finney. So it is the 10-year anniversary today of legendary Bitcoiner Hal Finney. Some people think he was the Satoshi. One theory I've had lately, and I don't know, you guys can call me on this if you want to, but one theory I've had lately is Jack Dorsey. I know it's probably wrong. I know it's crazy to think that. But to me, Jack Dorsey wears a shirt that says Satoshi on it. One shirt. That's what he wears to every conference, every speech. One shirt, it just says Satoshi on it. So to me, like people like Jack, they like the symbolism stuff. And wouldn't it be very ironic in a way that we don't know who Satoshi is? Jack's been such an advocate for open source, for Bitcoin, for this whole movement. And he literally puts it on his shirt, the front of his shirt, that he is Satoshi. I don't know. Kind of crazy, kind of not. He would be. I also understand the fact that there's been people like Hal Finney involved. The actual evolution of Bitcoin goes back like 50 years for people trying to find something similar to Bitcoin online, digital cash, private cash that you can use online, because everybody knew that this was coming. When the internet came out, we knew that we would have to have a currency for the internet. And there's been a lot of attempts at it in the past, but could it be Jack? I doubt it personally, but it seems kind of weird that he keeps wearing a shirt that says Satoshi, almost as if like he wants to let everybody know, but he's trying to make it too obvious for people to suspect him. I don't know. But the other part of me, the more logical part of me, thinks that Satoshi is a group of people in some sort of very established agency that created it. Because the design of Bitcoin and how it was all done isn't something that happened lightly. It was almost designed perfectly to a T, every aspect of it. So I don't know. It's tough. Timber Crasher, good morning. Scarpelli, good morning. Scarpelli Productions. Do you want to help produce the show, Scarpelli? Having a hard time with it. One man. And my mouse is too loud. You could give me some audio advice. Rick, good morning all. Have we smashed the like yet? That's a really good question. Have we? I saw before we even came in here, there's 4 on there. So I'm thinking possibly. What we got? We got 25 people in here and 14 likes. That's pretty good. We'll accept that. It's a good ratio. Okay, let's take a look over in Zap Stream. Silver Fox is over there as well. Zapped 1,000 sats. Thank you, my friend. Sunshine says we are all Satoshi. I agree with that. But somebody had to come up with the brilliance of Bitcoin. And for that, we will be forever grateful. Craig, let's see what Craig has to say here. He just got back from vacation. So Craig says, Canada, on our way back from Miami, we got stopped before connecting flight by financial police in SWAT here at the Montreal airport on the bridge to the plane. The officer said, we are concerned with the money leaving Canada and have a few questions, starting with how much do you have on you? They let us on the plane after a few minutes, but I was glad that I had changed my password on MacBook to super long and deactivated Touch ID in case they tried to search it. Not sure I want to fly via Canada again. Interesting. We are concerned with the money leaving Canada. Yeah, they should be. They should be concerned about the money leaving Canada. And the reason why money's leaving Canada is because we have a fucking dipshit ruining this country right now. So, yeah, I mean, if I had a lot of money too, there's no way I would be keeping it within Canada. And you have to think about that longer term, how this is going to play out. As more and more capital flows out of Canada, as more and more people lose their jobs, as more and more people come into the country and drive up prices, the money flowing back to the government is going to go down and down and down. And they're going to lose their influence and their power and the control that they have right now simply because of that. The capital's flowing out of here. There's not money coming in. So how are they going to fund? They're going to keep printing money. And as they keep printing money, it's a very vicious cycle that we're going through here. So yeah, lots of hope here in Canada. No, but for real, like I think that everything happening right now is very temporary. Everything's is temporary. And we're going to come out on the other side of this in a much different way with the natural resources that we have here in Canada. Although we don't have any gold, we don't have any Bitcoin, we don't have a prime minister who can tell you how many genders there are. But once that changes slowly and we start using the abundance and the natural resources that we have here in Canada, there's a lot of good Bitcoiners in Canada. And I think that Canada is actually number 3 or 4 in terms of Bitcoin mining in the world right now. So Scarpelli says, and those same people who claim the dollar is stable, your dollar doesn't buy the same thing as it did yesterday as today. So frustrating. I stopped trying to explain myself. Yeah, that's the way they've been doing is they just do it very slowly. And they come up with these fake numbers with fake inputs, 2% inflation. And that's kind of what people think, even though their eyes and their bank account tells them much differently. They think that because that's what Chrysler Freeland came out and said, that inflation is only 2.5%, that we're fine here. James Bond says, I was in Italy not long ago, did not see one obese person. Well, if you did, they were probably American or Canadian, a country who loves the seed oils. Who else? We got Knox Bill in the chat. We got AD in the house this morning. All right, so let's get to, I had a couple things that I wanted to show here today. I got like 6 emails. Let's just, I wanted to start the show with this today. Damn. Oh, well, no better time than now. We're going to check on the mempool. We're going to do our Bitcoin wall giveaway. Then we're going to watch that video. That's what we're going to do. AD says it's like browsers. You can choose Google, Firefox, Brave, DuckDuckGo, or whatever you're still accessing the internet. I think he's talking about Nostr. The problem with me getting way behind with comments here is I never know what it's about, but I think that is correct. And that it's exactly what Nostr is. And that's what I want everybody to think about with Nostr. So we have the internet, a protocol, Bitcoin, a protocol, email, a protocol, Nostr, a protocol. So Nostr is the protocol that all these different apps sit on top of, that you can build on, that you can integrate with. And the really cool thing about Nostr is that you can take that one private key, your key pair, your public and private key pair, and you can access any client within Nostr, which is kind of that's why I call it Internet 2.0, because if you think about how that is different from the internet that we use now, with the different applications, different social media clients or apps, whatever you want to call them, you can't integrate between Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. Like that's what's going to happen here, and it's already started. You see the integration with Nostr and Fountain already, where if you make a comment, if you connect your Nostr account to Fountain, you make a comment on Fountain, it also shows up in Nostr. Or you include the audio clip or the audio show from Fountain on Nostr, and it flows through to Fountain. So it's a whole protocol that's going to be very connected and very easy to use. It's just, we're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there, because like the graphic we showed last week, the amount of people building in Nostr right now far exceeds anything else. So just give it time, have some patience, consider it an opportunity. It's very easy to get frustrated with things not working, especially in Bitcoin and Zap.Stream and Nostr. But if it was easy, then everyone would be here and the opportunity would be gone. So just understand that. What was I doing here? Oh, mempool. Happy hump day, by the way. I usually start the Wednesday shows with happy hump day and hope that everybody gets a hump in today. So I miss doing that. And the other part of that is that if you want to guarantee yourself a hump today, the easiest way to do that is to send a zap on Zap.Stream. The universe knows. You're zapping, you're humping. Okay, mempool, what do we got here? Currently sitting at block height 858.810. The fees are still incredibly low, 3 sats per vbyte, and AntPool is still cleaning up the blocks. We got AntPool, we got Foundry, we got Via BTC, we got the worst name in Bitcoin mining, Carbon Negative. Let's give a big reverse shout out to Carbon Negative for that horrific name. Do you know what Carbon Negative would mean? No existence anymore. The earth is made up of carbon. We are made up of carbon. We need carbon to literally survive. So if you're trying to be carbon negative, that means that you're trying to wipe out the earth. So we need to get carbon negative earning as little amount of Bitcoin as possible. Seems like they're trying to make us extinct. AntPool hit 4 in a row. And Whitepool, that seems a little bit racist. Anyways, the fees are still incredibly low. Let's take a quick look at the hash rate, how we're doing there. How do we get there? A few more. So this is the 1 year hash rate, pretty good. I mean, last year at this time we were at 400 exahash, and now we're close to 600 exahash. The difficulty keeps going up, the hash rate keeps going up, but this is my favorite chart. That's a beauty. And for those who may be unfamiliar, the hash rate is basically and simply the amount of energy within the Bitcoin network. So every time that somebody plugs in a Bitcoin miner, adding their energy and electricity to the network, competing for the next block, the hash rate goes up. When somebody unplugs a miner, they can't afford to pay their electricity bills anymore, the hash rate goes down. So honestly, based on the hash price and everything happening right now in the Bitcoin mining industry, the fact that it's still pretty much at all-time highs is a very, very strong indicator for Bitcoin. The hash rate is much more of a metric to follow than the fiat price. Because that means that people are, even though they're losing money right now, they're still thinking that the price, the hash price, the price of Bitcoin is going to go up in the near term. All right, let's see Bitcoin well. I know that we got topped up yesterday, so shout out to Bitcoin well for that. Another thing too, I'm not going to jinx it. Never jinx it. Never count your eggs before they're hatched. But we got a couple of really cool things in the works right now for the show. Might actually be going out to Alberta in the next month or so to meet with Adam and to play around the golf with Adam, the guy from Bitcoin Well. Okay, let's play this game. So get out your phones, get your thumbs ready, a little bit of a warm up. Actually, it matters which Lightning wallets you use because some of them take a little bit longer than others to load. Okay, so here we go. This is the Bitcoin well toss. We do this every day on the show. Well, most days on the show, if we remember and if we have enough tosses in the holster. So get your phones out, get your Lightning wallets out, and let's go. Oh, that scared me. I didn't think we were going there. All right, what do we got today? 500 again. I don't mean to sound disappointed, but I really want it to be a big one sometime. I know we'll get it, but we always want it to be today. Oh, that's quick. Somebody got it quick today. There it is, the Bitcoin wishing well toss, sponsored by Bitcoin Well and Bitcoin Journey, because unfortunately I don't get any of those sats. So that's my contribution to the community here as well. But nonetheless, Bitcoin Well, great exchange. I've been using them exclusively for the Bitcoin buys, and everybody I've talked to, we used to be on the bull Bitcoin side, which I still love. I still love bull Bitcoin. Don't get me wrong. I love everything that they're doing here in Canada and in Costa Rica, but I've been using Bitcoin Well more and more. And the people that I've talked to have used both Bitcoin Well and bull Bitcoin. It sounds like most people are actually preferring Bitcoin Well. So if you're in the US or you're in Canada, make sure to set yourself up on get yourself an account there and just add it to everything we want to do here is just keep adding tools to our toolbox. And so if this happens, we have this. If just like a contractor would have, you want to have as many tools for if something happens to the house, if there's a leak, if the part of the house, the electricity goes out in part of the house, you want to have the tool for that. So it's the same kind of thing. We have to be ready for things within Bitcoin, and adding a couple of exchanges like Bitcoin Well to your overall setup is a very net positive there. So shout out to them. Grab an account, bitcoinwell.com/Jor, and you get 5 free tosses into the well, which equates to free sats. That's the main thing. Arnie's being a bit loud out there. You good, bud? Wow. Where'd he go? Who got the sass today? People quit sharing. Oh, there he is. There's Arn. Little grunt. What a hard life for Arnie. Okay, let's go to this video. Let's restart this. This will get you going. Actually, before we do, I'm going to check on the chat here a little bit. I've been falling behind. Muslim Bitcoiner says, not Jack. Satoshi is not one person, it's more. I agree with that. Jor, you could put your Satoshi theory to the man himself on Nostr. Well, we have to keep in mind here that I'm sure Jack has been accused of being Satoshi before. And if I asked him, I don't think he's just going to come out and say he is Satoshi. I think that, I mean, if you look at everything that's been happening in the world with the Telegram stuff, anything, the best thing that Satoshi could have done is remain anonymous, because with Bitcoin now and with Nostr, that's why Nostr's such a beautiful thing, is because there's no head that they can cut off. There's no head that they can cut off. There's no CEO of Bitcoin. There's no CEO of Nostr. And so when you have something like that where you cannot stop it, you cut the head off one, 10 more grow. And that's how Bitcoin has been growing. That's why it cannot be stopped. That's why Nostr will continue to grow. So personally, I hope we never find out who Satoshi is, because that would be a big problem for them, obviously. The Telegram CEO got arrested for basically doing nothing. Like literally, I think they asked him to KYC people harder and he didn't, and they arrested him. So what do you think they would do with the CEO of, or the founder of Bitcoin, that literally is going to flip the whole existing system on its head? It wouldn't be good. Oh, I'm running out of sats here on the Zap stream. Let me bump that up. I have to know my password here, because some days it locks me out of Get Albi. All right. Let's watch this video. Sorry, we didn't really catch up on chats there, but we're running out of time. We got to keep things moving. All right. Share this tab instead. Okay, let's watch this. This is our favorite guy, one of our favorite guys, Andreas Antonopoulos, one of the main OGs of Bitcoin. I don't know is he still in the game? Is Andreas still kicking around? I see he has a YouTube channel, but I don't know if he's been posting lately or not. All right, minute video here. This gets you going.
What does the insider group do? What do the regulators do in response to a system that cannot be regulated? They regulate the bits they can. They regulate the exchanges. They regulate the bank accounts. They regulate the national currency side of things. They shut down the on-ramps and off-ramps. They say, we will not let you take your money with you. And what do millennials say to that? Dude, I don't have any fucking money. All I have is my creative potential, my spirit, my productivity, and I can sell that directly for Bitcoin without an exchange, without an on-ramp, without an off-ramp. And when I need to buy something, I'll use my digital currency directly without re-entering your system, to which I was never invited. Shut down the on-ramps, shut down the off-ramps, and I will stay on board. I will stay digital. I won't touch your gilded cage anymore, because I don't need you. I exit.
Damn. If that doesn't give you goosebumps, then I don't know if you're in the right spot or not here. But it's very true. Am I on mute? No, we're not on mute. Good. It's very true. And that's one of the things that people, I try to help as many people as I can here. Some people one-on-one, some people through the show. But one of the questions that a lot of people ask is, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin. What about the tax implications of this? What about when I want to sell it? How do I cash it in? Let's say Bitcoin does what we think it's going to do, and this money that I put in now is worth 100x that in 20 years. First of all, people see that as a problem. It's like that's And I don't mean to single out my brother. I know he doesn't watch the show, but my brother's one of those guys. They think that abundance and growth there's a bad side to it. It's like, okay, well, if I'm going to buy this and it makes me a whole bunch of money, how am I going to deal with the taxes for that? It's like, well, the only way you're paying taxes if you're actually making money, which is what you want to do. You want to be in a position where you're paying taxes. You want to find every way around paying those taxes, but you want to be in a position, you want to buy things that actually make you pay tax. You don't want to avoid that opportunity so you don't have to pay tax on it. That makes no sense. The net of that, even if you're paying tax on it, is still positive. But a lot of people have that question. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy this, but what happens when I want to cash out? And the people who ask that question are still stuck in the fiat mentality where they're going to buy the greatest asset, the most scarce asset that's ever existed, and they're going to hold on to it for a while, and then they're going to trade it back for a currency that they can create more of without asking our permission. A small group of people have that ability to do it. That's worth nothing. It's backed by nothing. It's a complete illusion. So you want to move from that to that, and you're asking how to do that? But what the heck? Oh, we got a raid from the grinder. I was like, what the heck? I thought my sats ran out again. We got a raid from the grinder. We had a raid yesterday and we got a raid today. Welcome everybody from the grind. Big shout out to the grinder. He was doing an AMA this morning. I tuned in for a little while, but he was doing an AMA on Nostr on Zapdos stream. So shout out to Grinder for doing that and for sending people from his crew over to here. And we got Dr. Fernando Morales. Hey, Jor. Good morning, Doc. Look at that. And we got Lazdas zapped 2100 sats, and the Grinder zapped 2100 sats himself. Top upster. Thanks, fellas. Good to have you here. We're talking about, what were we talking about? I don't know. Oh, that's what we're talking about. Like trying to exit the Bitcoin system. So when you're actually going to sell your Bitcoin, if you do ever sell your Bitcoin, there are many ways to do it. There's a no KYC ways to do it. You can find somebody, you can find a community and buy and sell there. That's why I love our Living in the Future community, because I think it's going to evolve into something like that where people, you know, it's trust. It's your web of trust. It's your network. The bigger that becomes, the more easily you can navigate this. And so you're going to be able to buy and sell with people within your community. Hopefully you're in the process of finding a community. But outside of that, like if you want to buy something, and hopefully by that time, Bitcoin has to be in demand. That's kind of the next, I think, stage in Bitcoin, is that people are really going to have to want Bitcoin. They're going to have to go to work and say, I'm tired of this. I don't want to be part of this fiat system anymore. I want to be paid in Bitcoin. Or I'm going to find somebody who will pay me in Bitcoin. And that's why I think that if you're holding Bitcoin right now, if you have a business, the amount of future leverage that you're going to have is almost hard to comprehend. Not just purchasing power, but like people wanting to work for your company if you start paying them in Bitcoin. So we're going to have to get to that step where people actually want to be paid in Bitcoin. And when that happens, if you want to buy something, let's say that you need a new truck, or you need a new, whatever it is, new set of golf clubs, new quad. You don't have to go back through the traditional financial rails. Or you just need to fill up your freezer, you know, at a much smaller sense here. You need to put meat in your freezer. So you get a local farmer, you pay him Bitcoin. You never go back into the old system. And that's what Andreas was saying there, is that if you do things properly, and if you are preparing for this next economy that's coming, you'll never have to go back into the traditional rails. That Bitcoin will never go back through the bank. It'll never go back into fiat. You'll just buy and sell things with people using Bitcoin and never go back into that system. And that's where we want to get to here. And that's why we're building things right now within this community here, within Bitcoin, to help us with that, to help us exit the fiat system. It starts with a mindset that you leave. It starts with your energy, but then you get to a point where you actually never have to go back into that system. And that's where we want to get to there. So big shout out to Big shout out to Andreas for that. I'm guessing that was like 10 years ago now. And what a guy. Maybe we'll watch this video again for the grinder because I think he just showed up. So it's only a minute long, and it's very important to realize what we have here. So here we go. This is for the grinder.
What does the insider group do? What do the regulators do in response to a system that cannot be regulated? They regulate the bits they can. They regulate the exchanges. They regulate the bank accounts. They regulate the national currency side of things. They shut down the on-ramps and off-ramps. They say, we will not let you take your money with you. And what do millennials say to that? Dude, I don't have any fucking money. All I have is my creative potential, my spirit, my productivity, and I can sell that directly for Bitcoin without an exchange, without an on-ramp, without an off-ramp. And when I need to buy something, I'll use my digital currency directly without re-entering your system to which I was never invited. Shut down the on-ramps, shut down the off-ramps, and I will stay on board. I will stay digital. I won't touch your gilded cage anymore because I don't need you. I exit.
Wow. Gets better every time you watch it, I think. So a couple of things, watching that for the second time there, a couple more things to talk about here. But he's absolutely right. And I never mentioned that in the first part of my little follow-up there, but gotta sneeze. But we're getting to that point now. Think where the world is right now. Think about where everything's moving from, as we've talked about many times before, from an actual labor market into, or a labor economy into an attention economy. It's been happening for the last 10 years. There's people who make real significant money online playing video games or making, short videos and having ad brands sponsor their show. Like that's where things have been moving, and it's going to continue to go there. But the problem with that is that it requires a lot of permission. It requires you to follow their rules. And it's a much different ballgame than we're playing with here on Nostr. And think about the path to Nostr here. Once people realize what's happening over on Nostr, all of these people who are creating this content and earning money, once they realize that there's a way that they can actually earn Bitcoin, and this goes back to people actually having to want it. But when that happens and they realize that they can get onto Nostr and they can share content, they can share posts, they can post things and receive Bitcoin, the greatest money, most scarce asset we've ever had before, instantly, without anybody's permission, without any sort of thresholds to earn that. Imagine what happens at that point. And so people actually won't be trading. They won't be going to work to earn fiat, and they won't be going to an exchange to exchange that fiat for Bitcoin. They will just be doing work for Bitcoin. And when that happens, again, it's completely away from the old system there. So that's what we're moving into. That's what we're moving into. And that's why I've never been more excited about Bitcoin and Nostr. Nostr is kind of like the missing piece to all this, how to make this whole thing work. There's still people who think that Lightning has failed because nobody uses it. I use Lightning every single day on Nostr, and it works perfectly fine. So as this, then you have eCash, you have the mini bit stuff, the eNuts, all of these things are going to continue to be built and evolve as we go forward here. And as it becomes easier, more and more people are going to make that switch from the old system into Bitcoin. But the other thing I want to talk about there is Andreas himself. Like, you can tell that he's somewhat on the spectrum, I think, a little bit. He has to be. Like, he before anybody even knew what Bitcoin was, he mastered it essentially. So people like that who are very, I don't know how to, obsessive. The fact that he can go up there and make presentations like this, communicate so effectively, and not only just like get his message across, but like in a very, he's hilarious too. Like he knows when to push people's buttons. He knows when to say what to spark emotion. Like he's a genius, and there's not many geniuses who have the ability to go up there on stage and communicate that with people like us. And I don't mean to shit on you, but people like me. So what a legend. I don't think Andreas gets enough props for what he's done for Bitcoin. Grinder says, one of his best presentations. Andreas made me the coiner I am today. True story. Do you know the one where he was talking about Bitcoin to Swiss bankers? That one is a bomb too. Told a bunch of bankers that they know nothing about money. That's what I mean. Like he's just such a legend. He had no filter. He said exactly what he wanted to. He presented it in the perfect way. And that's such a rare quality to have. He is still, I mean, he's still alive. Such a treasure for Bitcoin. And Grinder says anyone newish to Bitcoin should watch all of his videos and read Mastering Bitcoin. I agree. And somebody actually posted on Nostr this morning. I can find it quickly actually here because I boosted it. But a guy on Nostr, Sleventy3, some wild names in Bitcoin, says just finished the book The Internet of Money by Andreas Antonopoulos. A simple read, perhaps you could say for beginners. Didn't take too long, and he explains complex talking points in easy to understand ways. It's a book I'd recommend to new plebs on the scene. So yeah, I mean, you look at, we have so much. I think one of the hardest part for Bitcoiners, honestly, is finding the right information, because there's just so much of it out there now. You can go onto YouTube. You could spend probably the next 3 weeks watching very relevant videos. So you do kind of have to prioritize your time, because time is the only thing more scarce than Bitcoin itself. But you have to find guys like Andreas and actually spend time and prioritize things like that, because he is one of the best people to have ever done it, probably the best. So as the Grinder says, take some time, watch as many videos as you can on YouTube of Andreas's presentations. Read a book if you have time, but just start with the YouTube videos themselves. And you're going to learn a ton. That knowledge that you'll get from watching Andreas Antonopoulos, I think, is honestly invaluable, because you have to keep in mind here, as yourself watching this video today or listening to it later, you have to keep in mind here what your goal is. Because there are, I forget how many million companies, 300 million companies on Earth right now. Every single one of those companies is going to need Bitcoin. They're going to have their own Bitcoin strategy. They're going to have their own multi-signature wallet, maybe their own Fedimint. Whatever that is, every single company who, I guess, survives this is going to have Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And they're going to need help from people. So not just the retail, not just your friends and family, but every company on Earth is going to need to know how to store their Bitcoin and a Bitcoin strategy, and how to manage the cold storage, the Lightning wallet, the Fedimint, how to pay suppliers, how to receive Bitcoin. Every company on Earth is going to need to know how to do this. So all the knowledge that you can accrue at this point, this early in the game, is going to be invaluable in the future, if that's something that you want to do. I mean, there's probably people watching here who are very good at something and just want to hold Bitcoin themselves. That's fine. But the people who are actually interested in helping this movement grow and push adoption here, things like this are truly invaluable. So we're 54 minutes into this. I did not anticipate this today. Sound familiar? Sounds like every day. Sounds like every day on the Bitcoin journey. Oh, I wanted to share this too. This is another one here. Actually, the Grinder was talking about some of these this morning on his show, but this was from Carnage yesterday. So I'm actually going to share this it's the beauty of Zap.stream. I can share this. I can't do this on YouTube, but I'm going to post this link here. Hopefully that works. I'm going to bring it up on screen here too. But this is just for anybody who's been in Nostr for a while and wants to try a few new things. This is a post I found from Carnage yesterday on Nostr. So it says some neat Nostr apps, and you can see nostrapps.com for more. But you can see there's torrents over Nostr. There's a Nostr power client, Nostr, we love that one. Zap.stream, streaming, get paid with Lightning, Nostr chat enabled. Lister, I think the grinder was talking about that on his show this morning. You can make, discover, and manage lists. Habla, write long form content. And Pub Pro, you can easily create a website out of your Nostr notes. That's pretty badass. I haven't done that yet, but I've seen some and they're pretty cool. Heya.fund, you can start Lightning fundraisers. You can create and add custom emoji sets. Obsidian, I started using that one recently. It's a plugin to write to Nostr from Obsidian. Plebeian Market sells stuff for sats, Nostr enabled. And Flare.pub, YouTube on Nostr. So once again, you can find those on nostrapps.com. That's a list for you. So that's for the people who are somewhat familiar with Nostr. If you're kind of new to Nostr, I would strongly suggest just starting with one client and going from there. But if you've been here for a while, I think that, and my second suggestion for that would actually be to spin up a new npub. Don't use like your main npub to be testing different things. Spin up a brand new one and use that just to kind of test. Because there has been some bad things that have happened with different NSECs on there. Dr. Fernando says, do you have any Mexicans in your Patreon? I yearn for meeting Bitcoiners face to face. I don't know if we do. I love Mexico, though. I've been there plenty of times. Big fan of Mexico, mostly because it's just so close. But Mexican people are also awesome. All right, let's do a brief catch up on the chat here. I've missed a few things. Daniel Droidser, a member of the Bitcoin Journeyman, says Mark Zuckerberg just admitted to Congress that he was pressured by the federal government to censor content on their behalf. Yeah, that's a wild story, honestly. Good for Zuck for coming out. I don't know the whole story behind why he did it now and if he was forced to or what's going to happen with that, but pretty crazy. I mean, if you were paying attention at all, it was very obvious that was happening. Very obvious. But anyways, Bitcoin Boomer says, question, if the Bitcoin cycle continues, rather than DCAing, why not purchase limit orders each month starting around 50K all the way down to 35K or so in $500 increments? I mean, you could try it. Limit orders is basically when the price dips low enough and it hits your limit. That's when it automatically buys. So it's a good strategy. I think a lot of people do that. I don't think that should be your only way to buy Bitcoin because personally, I don't think we're ever going back down to 50 and especially not to 35. I think kind of the next thing that's going to happen here with it, and I could be wrong. Like I know nothing. I cannot predict anything realistically, but based on history and based on the amount of demand in Bitcoin right now, I think probably in the next, after the election, Bitcoin's gonna, if Trump happens to win, I think if Kamala wins, it's gonna be a whole different story. But if Trump happens to win, I think Bitcoin's gonna go very, very high, very quickly. And yes, it'll drop after a while. I don't know when that'll happen or how long it'll be until it drops. But once we get to that point where, let's say 100,000, it'll never come back down to 50 or especially 35. So I think you're kind of going to be wasting your time with that. And honestly, based on where we are right now in this whole Bitcoin adoption, there's no difference between, in 10 years from now, you're not going to remember if you bought Bitcoin at 35, 50, 150. Just get as much as you can. Don't wait for things to, go your way because it never does. So just buy when you can, whatever the price is. And in a decade from now, as I said, when the price is no longer even measured in Bitcoin, when it's measured in sats, you're not going to remember what you paid for it. It's going to be no different between 35, 50, 150. It's all going to be the same. Scarpelli says, got it today, but check your wall of Satoshi. I'm not sure what that was in relation to, but I'll check my wall of Satoshi. I don't have it on my other one. Oh, Grinder shared the stream today. Thank you, Grinder. What a good day for the Grinder today. He rated the chat, he zapped the chat, and he shared the chat on. It's pretty cool. I'm on Nostr right now, and I'm watching the live video on Nostr. What a world. What a world. Rock and Roll says, every time I listen to Annapolis, my T level gets fired up tremendously. Yeah, there you go. Brennan says, great video yesterday about the ledger seed dilemma. I dispensed with mine. A clear conscious outweighs easy and lazy. 100%. So anybody who didn't, Scarpelli, the Bitcoin well-wishing reward. So that's who won 500 sats. So I'm guessing he sent some back. Thank you for doing that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, but it's much appreciated. And if anybody else who's not on Zap.stream today watching the YouTube chat, if you ever want to send some sats, this is Arnie's wallet. You can send any amount. There's been 21 sats. There's been 20,000 sats in there. If you feel like giving some back and you're not on the Zap stream, you can still participate in that. But anyways, Brendan says about the Ledger Seed video yesterday. If you didn't watch that yet, I think that I clipped it and titled it, How Safe is Your Bitcoin? We're mostly just talking about the fact that you might be holding some Bitcoin in a cold storage, either a Ledger, Trezor, really any wallet. And that seed phrase may have been compromised somewhere along the way. But because you're continuing to feed it, whoever potentially, this is a very low odds thing that I'm talking about here, but it could happen. So there could be somebody out there with your seed phrase who's seeing you feed Bitcoin into that wallet every week, every month, whatever that is. Why would they sweep it? Why would they let you know that they have access to it? So instead of waiting for that potentially to happen, and this isn't everybody, like I don't get this feeling at all. I use a cold card. I don't have this feeling at all. My Bitcoin is safe the way I have it, or the Bitcoin that I hate admitting to owning Bitcoin on the internet. But I mean, I do have a Bitcoin channel. I talk about Bitcoin every day. So it wouldn't be too much of a stretch for somebody to assume that I do have Bitcoin. But anyways, the Bitcoin that I have is safe. But I know that there's people watching this or listening to this later who might not have the best security setup right now. And even though it's still in the wallet, if you have a feeling in your gut that what I just said could happen to you, then don't risk it. Just straight up, do not risk it. Get yourself a cold card, move the Bitcoin from there, and make sure that any uncertainty there, any questions in the back of your mind disappear. It's been moved. You don't, wherever that's been, whoever had access to it no longer does. So just move it from your Ledger or your Trezor, whatever it is, into your cold card. And make sure that whatever wallet you're using is a Bitcoin only wallet. That's it. There's a bunch of different options for it. And I'm actually ordered a Passport wallet yesterday. Cold card, I've been cold card from day one here. I still use a cold card, but I ordered a Passport wallet from Foundation, and I'm going to try that out. And there's also the Blockstream Jade, which I've heard a lot of good things. It doesn't necessarily matter which one you're using. Make sure that's a Bitcoin wallet, Bitcoin only wallet. And if you've ever plugged it into your computer, if it has like a USB thing, I would get rid of it. Get a new one, move it into your new wallet, sleep much better at night. You don't want to wake up 20 years from now after spending so much time, so much energy, and you think that you're, going to retire in a couple of years, and you wake up one day, and because back in 2020 or 2022, you plugged your Trezor into your old laptop and it was corrupted at that time, and somebody sweeps it, you don't want to be in that situation. That's my ultimate nightmare. going to say something else there, but I don't really remember. Oscar Herrera from Mexico, Maxi Bitcoiner. One of my favorite things I've seen lately is Rock and Roll. He actually just got on to Nostr, I think a couple days ago, our buddy Rock and Roll. And his profile, his bio on Nostr is quadruple maxi. So I don't know if anybody watched the Sailor Chat from the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, but he talked about the single maxi, double maxi, triple maxi. And then Rock and Roll refers himself as a quadruple maxi. I would say the same about myself. I'm pretty deep into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin fails now, I will be in trouble. I'll make it work. That's the thing. That's what you always have to keep in mind with money. You never want to. One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned, and I don't even know where it came from, but one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in life is that if money can fix it, it's not a real problem. Because you can always just earn more money. You know, you don't really know what's going to come next in your life. You don't know what's going to out of your control that's going to pop up, but you can't worry about it too much. Whether your tire goes flat, whether your hot water heater blows, whatever that is, if money can fix it, it's not a real problem. You can always make more money. So even if Bitcoin were to fail, I'd be fine. It'd be shitty for a while, but I would, you know, I've been accruing skills. I've been accruing knowledge, and whatever happens, I'm going to be able to put those to good use in the future and make back the money. So do I worry that Bitcoin's going to fail? No, I'd say it's about a 0.001% chance it does, but it could, and I'm ready for it. So that's my spiel for everybody today. And it really helps too. I think that really ties into the whole stoicism stuff of just like not worrying about things that you can't control, especially when it has to do with money. Because you can always, it's first of all, the fiat that we have, it'd be different to lose Bitcoin though. That's the difference. To me, you know, if my tire blows and I have to spend some of my fiat money on it, it is what it is. That's just life. But if somebody were to somehow sweep my Bitcoin, that'd be a different story. That's why you want to also kind of spread out your Bitcoin. If you have a cold card, if you have a Jade, if you have some on your phone, it's always good. You never want to put too much into one basket in life. All right. Grinder says it's what we do, Jor. We grow together on Nostr. Yes, that's the beautiful thing about Bitcoin and the communities that are being built within Bitcoin is that everybody's just wanting to grow together. That's the integration of Nostr, is that if somebody comes onto Nostr, it benefits all the clients. Somebody joins Twitter, it benefits Twitter. But if somebody joins onto Nostr, gets their public and private key, it benefits the whole ecosystem. And it's the same within Bitcoin. That's all we are. We're just all nodes here growing this thing. Does Arnie own his own keys? No, he doesn't. Not yet. And the reason why he doesn't own his own keys is because I have it all in Wallet of Satoshi, and we still don't have enough for his own UTXO yet. We will. We'll get there. Just got to be patient. And I don't really want to rush it just to get it into his own keys, but probably within the next month or two, Arnie will have his own UTXO. I love his wallet address. Yeah, that was the craziest thing for me, is that I spun up a wallet on my old phone a while ago, a Wallet of Satoshi wallet. I spun it up. I didn't even think about it. It just I like having as many wallets as possible. But anyways, I connected it I was going to use it for Arnie's wallet. And when I opened it and I went to get the Lightning URL, because Wallet of Satoshi provides you with a Lightning address, just a random one. And the one I'm using for Arnie now is actually called Adopted Son 98. That's his address. Adopted Son 98 at Wallet of Satoshi. So it just seemed pretty poetic to me that that's his address. He is adopted. He's a rescued pup. All right. What else we got here? Are we still here? I don't know. Are we? I think we are. Hope we are. One certainty Fiat is losing purchasing power forever. 100%. Muslim Bitcoiner says Bitcoin wallets only. Ledger has a number of problems. Closed source, backdoor to your seeds. Ledger loves to know your balance. Got hacked. Trezor partnered with chain analysis to save their own butts. A lot of info there, but great info there. And Silver Fox says, let us know how you get on with the passport. Yeah, I definitely will. I'm going to be doing a little comparison. I might give it to Bridge actually to manage her little stack of Bitcoin that she has, and see how she does with it as like what would I call her? She's not a non-Bitcoiner, but somebody who's not overly familiar with wallets. So we'll try it out. It never hurts to. I was actually talking to somebody from Foundation a couple days ago through email, and I said, cold card's been my number one. I've been talking about strictly cold card since I started my channel. It's what I use. And so I'm happy to try out the Foundation wallet, but at the same time, I'm not going to start telling people not to use cold card and to use the passport. And the guy was like very understanding. He was so helpful with everything. But he said, yeah, I'm the same way. I have a cold card. I have a passport. I have a Jade. When you get to a certain point in Bitcoin, you realize that you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket, including your wallet. So I think that even if you have your main stack in a very well protected setup, and then you just have a couple other ones in case that ever were to get hacked, you just keep building up your balances in other wallets, like a passport, like a Phoenix wallet, whatever that is. I think that that's the best strategy for people to go on. Grinder says, I have a ledger here from the Bitcoin Amsterdam and it's still in its wrapping. I'll keep it as how not to store your shit reminder. Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't like shitting on other wallets, but like Ledger's just had so many issues. And I just want to be clear that if you are somebody watching the show right now and you're still using Ledger, even though you think that your Bitcoin's still there, it might not be one day. So yes, it's been good. You've managed to still keep access to your Bitcoin, but keep in mind that any day you wake up, that could be gone. So just, if you value your Bitcoin, if you're here for the long run, just invest like $200 or $300, get yourself a cold card or a Jade or a passport, whatever it is, but get it into a better option than the Ledger. Sorry, Ledger. Hopefully nobody from Ledger is watching the show, but if they are, fuck them. What would you do with Ledger wallets that you don't use anymore? Could you use them as a multi-sig signing device? Yeah, you could do that. I mean, it probably wouldn't be, you'd probably just be overcomplicating things. I wouldn't suggest that. Honestly, I would rather get a cold card and add a passphrase to it than set up a multi-signature wallet with a Ledger involved there. One thing you could do with Ledger is just keep it as like another wallet. Like I still have my Trezor. I took the majority of my Bitcoin off of the Trezor, but I still have it. It still has a little bit of Bitcoin on it. And if my main stack got hacked, I could just go to these different wallets like a Ledger, like a Trezor, get that up, and I wouldn't feel quite as bad for losing my Bitcoin. You don't have to throw it out, but just don't keep your main stack in Ledger. Pest says, I'm guessing you made a video explaining UTXOs. I need to understand what that's all about. Yeah, I would agree. I've talked about UTXOs hundreds of times here. You can't really talk about it too much though, but we don't have time to do that today, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely make it a priority to try to understand UTXOs. Don't panic. That's the only thing I'll say about UTXOs is don't feel like you have to consolidate all of your UTXOs just because you watched one video on it. Just be patient. But I mean, the other side of that too is that with the mempool being 3 sats per VByte right now, there is no better time to be consolidating UTXOs than today. And another thing too there, if you're not using the Sparrow wallet to interface with your Bitcoin, I think you're doing it wrong, because they have a tab that actually shows all your UTXOs. I haven't seen any other wallets that do that. You look at a different, any sort of wallet and you name it, it just shows your total balance there of Bitcoin. It doesn't show your UTXOs that make up that balance. It just shows the balance there. And that's a problem because you don't know how many UTXOs you have. So one thing to try, and I would try this with maybe we'll end the show with this today, or the first part of the show. We're already at an hour 15. Jeez Louise. One thing I would try is that take some Bitcoin. What was I going to say there? Okay, let's say that you're somebody who has a ledger right now, and you want to, whatever I said resonated with you, you feel a little bit of fear, which is good. Fear can be good. You don't want to be too paranoid, but a little bit of fear is good. So you decide to buy a cold card. Okay. So one thing I would do, or actually forget about that. Let's restart this advice. Try to find a way to import your, whatever it is. Let's say you use a ledger or a Trezor or any wallet with 12 words, seed phrase. Try to import that into Sparrow Wallet and see what happens. You go to Sparrow Wallet, you go to import wallet, you put in your 12 words. Be very careful. Make sure you're doing it on a non-corrupted laptop, just in case anybody has access to your keystrokes. But put it onto Sparrow. You can load it up in there and see if it'll actually show your UTXOs. If you have an Exodus wallet on your phone, type in your 12 words into your Sparrow wallet, and you should be able to see your UTXOs in there. Some of them don't work, I think, but for the most part, I think that they're fairly compatible with Sparrow. But that's what I would try. If you're not using Sparrow, you're doing Bitcoin wrong. Yeah, I mean, another part of that too is if you are somebody holding a decent amount of Bitcoin, make sure that it's on steel. Because again, you could have the best device, you could have the perfect setup, you could have a passphrase, but if it burns and your backup phrase burns, then your Bitcoin's gone. And what burns the easiest? Paper. So decoy, yeah, that's a passphrase. You want to get a decoy wallet. That's a little bit further down the road though. TJ says, I pay Unchained Capital for the peace of mind. Yeah, actually, I was just talking with Craig this morning, and I think he's over in Zap.stream. But him and I are actually putting together something similar to Unchained. It's going to be slightly different. It's going to be much more cost effective. And I think that a lot of people in this community here and people who watch the show are going to benefit significantly from that. So we're going to be announcing something hopefully in the next couple of months. Like I said, I was chatting with him this morning. And so we're going to have something similar to Unchained where we're actually going to offer similar storage, but it's going to be multi-jurisdictional. I'm not sure if Unchained Capital is, but if you've been listening to people talk about the potential attacks from government and how important multi-jurisdictional Bitcoin holdings are going to be, you're going to want to check out the service that we have. I'm very excited. I don't think I've ever been more excited about something in a long time. Mark says 6 people in the chat using Ledger just shit their pants. And this is another good idea here. That's why I love this chat. This is why I love this live chat. Bren says Ledger is a good decoy wallet. Yeah. Somebody breaks in your house. You keep, 2 million sats on a Ledger. Your cold cards may be tucked in the wall or somewhere out back. And you say, here's my Ledger. This is access to it. I'm going to send you the Bitcoin, because they're probably not going to leave your house unless they get some Bitcoin. They don't need to know how much you have, or they'll never know how much you have. But you could use a Ledger as a decoy wallet there. I never thought of that before. Safe says, I have an extra 20K kicking around. Should I buy Bitcoin now or wait? Absolutely now. Absolutely now. Don't wait. Don't wait for it to fall. It's not going down much further. Hey, Dan's in the chat this morning. One of our Bitcoin journeymen and living the future fellas. Geez Louise, that's not an Irish thing? I don't know. As Duncan says, why wait? Why would you wait? It's not, especially where we're at right now. Grinder says, I store my keys on Evernote on the cloud. They keep a backup of everything. Yeah, good call. If you never want to lose your private key, put it on the cloud. You won't lose it, but many more people will see it. All right. Well, we're way past what we wanted to do here. Was there anything I wanted to mention today? I don't know. Oh, I did want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been joining the Living in the Future community. It's been a record week here, and it's good. I think the Discord channel was kind of like the main push for a lot of people. It's awesome in there, and it's just brand new. But the nice thing that's going to happen with that, aside from like the network aspect of like buying and selling Bitcoin with other people, finding connections within Bitcoin, starting different ventures within Bitcoin. Just if you're somebody who's new to Bitcoin, and even if you don't have much to contribute, you sit in the Signal chat like a fly on the wall, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. And you're not going to go through the phase of trying to figure out who to trust, what to trust, because the beauty of that chat, and this was kind of a realization that I had last night, is that it's very similar to Bitcoin in the sense that everything's verified. So if you're by yourself there right now, if you're watching this wherever you are in the world, and you're trying to learn about Bitcoin, and you type that into Google, you say, how can I learn about Bitcoin? It's going to send you in 100 different directions where Google wants you to go. Then you're going to go to YouTube and you're going to type it in, and YouTube's going to show you what they want you to see. And you're going to have to filter everything out. You're going to have to go through the whole process of trying to figure out who you can trust, what information is good, which information is shit. The beautiful thing about the community that we have right now is that if somebody shares a resource, or if they're looking for help, but if somebody shares a resource, there's 50 more people in there who can verify that. And if somebody's either trying to push something scammy, or not necessarily being honest, or the wrong intentions there, somebody's going to call them out. So you have that not verification, but just like Bitcoin audits itself by sending it out to the whole network. The chat is the exact same way. If somebody shares something in there, whether it's, buy a Trezor, it's the greatest device, there's going to be somebody there who calls that out. That's why I love that. And that's why it's so powerful. So if you are somebody who's new to Bitcoin and you just want to learn stuff, you want to find good resources without having to cipher through everything, strongly consider joining the Living in the Future tier. And the best way to do that, I actually just updated the whole thing yesterday, finally. So I updated the amount of people. It was full before, so shame on me, but it was full. I bumped it up to be 88 maximum in there. And I created a couple new tiers as well, but you can find it. It's just called Living in the Future. $5 a month. You get access to every video, the private chat we're about to do here today. On the second part of the show, you're going to get access to the Signal chat and to the Discord channel. And the funny thing about this is I shared it on Nostr yesterday talking about it. And I threw Orange Pill app under the bus a little bit. I didn't really mean to. And I didn't think that the CEO of Orange Pill app was following me on Nostr. But I put out this post. I'll just read it maybe because it was kind of funny. And I'll tell you the whole story here as well. Where is it? Here. So the post was pretty simple. I said, consider joining a small Bitcoin community. I'm a member of the Orange Pill app. I paid 100,000 sats for the year. And so far, I've not gotten any sort of benefit from it. I'm not saying it's bad for everyone, but it hasn't been for me. We have a small community called Living in the Future, which has been growing by the day. It's half the price, 10 times the value, more building, more sharing. And if you're interested in joining, let me know. And then I open up my Orange Pill app a little while later, and I see a message from the CEO of Orange Pill app. And he messaged me, DM'd me on Orange Pill and said, saw your Nostr note. Not many members in your area. So that was extremely awkward, but it's the truth. I know that there's probably people in this chat here who have paid a lot of money to be part of the Orange Pill app and have gotten nothing from it, including myself. And maybe that's a me problem. Maybe, I don't know. It might work better in bigger centers, bigger cities. But for me, it did nothing. And so, like I said, half the price, very similar kind of idea behind Orange Pill app, this Living in the Future thing. But there's a lot more happening there. There's a lot more being shared. it's basically like a family. I would say that's what I kind of consider people in there, and very helpful. Everybody's building, everybody's sharing. And so if you're somebody who's been waiting to join and haven't yet, you should be able to today, because I increased the amount of, it was maxed out before. So just join. You can go to, in the show notes here, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to get access to every video every day, full version, no ads. You're going to get every video we've ever done on the show. If you want to have some free time, you can go back and watch them all. But yeah, that's what I just wanted to share today, because there's a lot of people I know who have tried the Orange Pill app, didn't get anything from it. And I want you to try out the Living the Future instead, because it's Muslim Bitcoiner says, I'm in a small town, so it's very geographical. It is. And so the beauty of what we are building here is that it's all kind of, there's people from all over the world. And the idea isn't necessarily to meet up with other people. Our goal is to try to do it once a year after a while, once, we have enough sats in the wallet. But it's mostly just like a virtual, there's a bunch of people from Ireland, Australia, Sweden, Canada, US, like there's people from all over the world here talking about Bitcoin, helping each other, building together. It's beautiful. So check that out. We're going to help over there right now. So now is the time to be hopping on there. So it'll just show up. You click the link, go to Patreon, it'll be the top video there. And you can find the second part of the show here. We're at an hour and a half already here. Anyways, join us over there. If not, you're dead to me. See you tomorrow. Just kidding. I appreciate everybody being here. This chat makes the show what it is. And for all the zaps on the stream, thank you for that. We had The Grinder with 2100. We had Last Das with 2100. We had Craig 2100. Letha 2100. We're losing our voice here. The Doctor 121 sats. And we had Silver Fox and Sunshine with 1,000. Great day over on Zapstream. Thank you for the raid, Grinder. And join us over in the second part of the show. We're going to keep this show going. As rock and roll says, the show must go on. So, title today's show is Bitcoin and Banks. I might have to update it again because we did not talk about that today. So, just a typical day here on the daily Bitcoin journey. Have a great Wednesday, a great hump day. Join us over on the second part of the show and try to get a hump in today. We'll see you tomorrow or on the second part.